Hello, this is a Chessodoro game review. This was a 15 plus 10 game between around 1100 rated players on Chess.com. Student is playing white. e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, and d4. So we have another scotch. My maybe small idea for you is if you play 4 knights scotch, if you go for this line like this, maybe you can avoid tons of theory by just transposing into scotch from 4 knights opening like this, and then go for this. So you avoid all sorts of weird moves like queen f6, queen h4, even this bishop c5 what was played in the game. You avoid this line, so think about it. You can do this maybe. Okay, but bishop c5 was played. The other main move is, of course, knight f6. And then if you choose, you can go back into 4 knights scotch, or take here. So bishop c5, you played bishop e3. This is an old classical line. I also play scotch, and in this position I prefer knight b3 move. It's like a more modern move, and you go for this plan, intending, let's say black plays this, you intend queen e2, then bishop e3, and long castles, so this is like more aggressive line compared to this classical move. But opponent here made a bit of a dubious decision. Maybe he didn't know theory, he took your knight. Better move is definitely queen f6 here. Then you have to protect the d4 square, and usually black finishes development like this. Bishop c4 castles, and white and black has no problems in this line, in my opinion. So bishop d4, played knight f6. You could maybe exchange everything, try to even exchange queens, but maybe this is slightly better for white, though I'm not sure actually. This pawn might be weak after exchanges, so engine shows slight advantage for white, but not so sure. So he could have went for multiple exchanges. Instead he went knight f6, and you played knight c3. A very interesting move here was e5. If the knight retreats, then it doesn't make no sense to play knight f6. So he has to pin the pawn, trying to win it. And then another cool move. We don't care about this pawn. Why? Because we're gonna quickly castle, and you see all pieces are jammed in the e file, so we could get big play here. He has now to play g5 in order to avoid f4 pin, and the position is messy here. You're pawn down, but you have bishop pair, open lines. Could play for compensation, or he could not take the pawn. Play smarter, like a6, castle, take the bishop, you take the knight, and go for some weird position like this. And also I think white is doing perfectly fine. Material is equal, but engine kind of says it's equal, but I prefer white here because black's king is not so safe. So e5 was a very interesting decision you had. Instead you played normal move, knight c3 is okay. Castles, you bring your pieces out. Could play bishop e2, but then black has this d5 counter play. Variation could go like this. Maybe black is sacking a pawn for the moment, but it can get messy after this move, and black continues compensation for the missing pawn. Your king is kind of vulnerable here a bit. So bishop c4, I like this decision because you stop d5. Okay, d6, castles, bishop e6, and very nice move for your level. You don't rush exchange pieces. You say, let him exchange, if he wants, let him open your rook. Very mature move for your level, I would say. You don't rush to exchange first. You always see what is a more advantageous exchange, if it opens some pieces for you and so on. So he played rook e8, definitely aiming at e4. So now he wants take, and e4 will be hanging, so kind of protected. And now he takes the bishop. Yeah, so he opening your rook. Very good for you. Yeah, and I think white has some slight advantage maybe here. Not much, yeah, because already 3 pairs of minor pieces were exchanged, so this space advantage e4 versus d6 is not so big. Yeah, the more pieces go off. But you have some active play. I think your pieces are slightly more active. You're hitting a7. Now he made a bit of dubious move. Yeah, he needed to play maybe a6 just to guard this pawn, free up this rook. But he played b6, and now you had an opportunity. You played queen c4, but I think b4 is a very nice move, intending maybe even to fix this pawn on a7, yeah, and then double up on the a file or something. So he has to prevent this b5, and then you could play normal stuff like this, yeah, and keep up slight pressure. Yeah, maybe white is slightly better. So queen c4 he went instead. a5 now. You see now black solved this problem. You no longer played b4, so they fixed nicely this pawn structure. You cannot even pin anything, yeah, so now this rook is not doing anything. So you played f3, but you could have moved the rook already. Yeah, because it's not doing much on e1. Played f3 instead, also a good idea. Yeah, protecting pawns. And now you went with this rook, good move. So you kind of asked some questions from the game, and here you asked, I could not find a plan, and bit by bit I lost the game. Was it because the position of my opponent was better developed? Well, I think not at all, yeah, not at all. The position here is around equal, and that means you either over pushed something, yeah, or you made some weaknesses or made a mistake somewhere, yeah, where you made the position worse. You shouldn't lose this type of position, yeah. You shouldn't make weaknesses, you should just improve pieces, yeah, bit by bit, and look for some opportunities. So let's see what happened next. Rook e5 was played. Kind of strange maneuver for black, yeah, bringing this rook. Well, I can understand the logic, right? He wants to maybe lift the rook somewhere, but you pushed it around. Rook c5, strangely placed rook. Went queen d4, maybe a slightly better move was queen d3, protecting c2, so you can kick this rook maybe with the knight, yeah? Somehow drive him off there. So queen d4 you went, queen e8, another weird move, maybe, well, queen d7 he cannot easily play, yeah, because you go e5. So yeah, maybe he's trying to maneuver this way. So you played g3, and I think this is the start of your you made a couple bad moves which made the position worse, I think. So always we have to be careful about such pushes from the king, yeah, especially since we're having full set of heavy pieces, yeah. Every weakening of the king cover might be very bad in the future, yeah. So g3 already, you see how you're weakening, and this pawn wasn't even under attack, yeah. So why you played the g3, I don't know, but here you made these squares much weaker, yeah. Now he immediately tried to use this. So what instead of g3, yeah? If you don't know what to do, strengthen the position, yeah. We see we have every piece developed. Okay, so maybe we can start improving them bit by bit, and instead of g3 I would even prefer h3, yeah, at the moment. King is much safer. With g3 already kind of opening second rank even a bit, yeah. So already with the sf pawn pushed, yeah, this diagonal sometimes is weak, and second rank might open, but with g3 you additionally weaken some light squares. So what about this improving the position? Yeah, you have all the pieces developed, you don't know what to do, yeah, seems like they are at maximum potential, but you still can just sit on the position, yeah, don't make it worse. Don't push randomly some pawns, yeah, trying to attack something and getting provoked by opponent, yeah. Just improve the pieces. Maybe you're gonna double, yeah, maybe the rook will go here, kind of make some, yeah, threats, or just poke the position a bit, yeah, maybe make opponent make some weakening move. Yeah, just sit on the position, don't make it worse by randomly pushing pawns. That's usually a big mistake at your level, and I would say higher level players until like, I don't know, 1800 on Chess.com, yeah, or 2000, they just randomly start pushing position from a pushing pawns from a calm position, yeah, and making tons of weaknesses, and then they lose the game. So keep this in mind. Yeah, you should just sit on the position. Don't make it worse. Yeah, let opponent make a mistake. Yeah, let him weaken his position somehow. So yeah, if you just played these kind of moves, yeah, you have little chance to lose the game. Yeah, opponent might make some mistake as well. So g3, queen e6, and now I think the main mistake of the game, f5. You kind of didn't know what to do, and you just keep pushing randomly. It's just a one move threat, yeah, but what is the big downside of this move? Can you maybe tell me? Yeah, pause the video and tell me the big downside. Yeah, other players can do it. It's basically pawns cannot go backwards. Yeah, you made big weakness of e5, so you gave away the square for opponent. Yeah, and that's the weakness of the last move, and immediately he takes up the square, and now your e4 pawn is kind of weak. And this f5 was just a temporary one move threat and didn't have any follow-ups, didn't achieve any attack. You just weakened your position. So instead of f5, again, you should maybe just sit on the position. Yeah, maybe just cover at least some light squares, yeah, with your king, but king is a bit exposed here. Maybe black has some counterplay like this, yeah, so maybe a better move would be rook d2 instead of king, yeah, and then you kind of just play around defensively a bit, yeah, since you already weakened a bit the position, but still white should be holding here, yeah, so, but f5 made it worse. Now black is better, much better, I think, already, because you have this weak pawn. Not clear how we are holding this pawn, actually. I analyzed if we go just immediately to protect it, I think we're in trouble because he's threatening b4, yeah, and then we're gonna lose this pawn. So, or we could go, instead of what you did h3, we could go knight d5, maybe trying to sack the pawn, go for some activity like this, but still he won a pawn, yeah. So instead h3, and he just gangs up on the pawn, and it's gone basically. You played the king f1 move, which doesn't do anything. Yeah, it doesn't help any protection of the pawn. So at least you could have tried maybe immediately g4, yeah, and not exchange as many pieces as possible. Maybe go knight d5. Try to be as annoying as possible, yeah. Don't exchange pieces. Leave the knight, yeah. For okay, you down a pawn, but still has black has lots of work to do to convert it. But king f1 just gave away the pawn for nothing, and he even managed to exchange most of the pieces, yeah. So now pure rook endgame, and you made another mistake, g4. You had to go with the king here, yeah, closer. You see, king f1 was really bad move. At least you had to go king f2 immediately. So king f2 and trying to protect this pawn. You immediately went here, but now he makes a nice move, breaking your structure apart. h5, and you're dropping another pawn. So now it's totally lost, yeah. 2 pawns down in the rook endgame without any activity. So yeah, you played some moves here, here, here. At least you're trying to activate the rook, which is cool. Yeah, you have to play till the end at this level still. So yeah, you brought the rook in, nice. Here you maybe had to play this, but still black is breaking your structure apart. So, and now surprisingly, opponent made a very nice move, sacrificing this pawn. So opponent is playing definitely above his level, I would say. Yeah, he's making such advanced concepts, yeah, like cutting the king off. Now this pawn is ready to go. King is guarding, yeah, from the rook. He sacked the pawn, but he had to foresee this, that his pawn is going through. So you had at least to go back to stop the pawn, but then his king is going in, yeah, and he wins. So, but he went for the pawns, but he quickly got checkmated here. So he ended like this, checkmate. Okay, let's summarize the game. So opening went okay, I think. Maybe check if we want to switch this move order, yeah, instead of immediately going for d4. If you play this 4-knight scotch, why not go from the 4 knights? Yeah, most likely move will be this. Maybe you can check in theory some other moves like this. But most of the time you would transpose to this, yeah, and you avoid tons of other moves. You shouldn't focusing on theory too much at this level. You should be looking more at fundamentals like middle game concepts, end game, yeah, so to learn the game more. But This would be like improvement, yeah, to skip as much theory as possible for practical decisions. So and second thing, instead of old school bishop e3, if you still want to play this line, yeah, this move bishop e3, maybe check this idea, yeah, with queen e2, bishop e3, long castle, much more aggressive system. I like it very much for white, yeah, instead of this old way of playing bishop e3. Third thing was you played the middle game and position was around equal, but two big mistakes. Well, first one was maybe not a mistake, this g3 move, yeah. Always be careful when pushing pawns for no reason, yeah. This was not attacked, this f4 pawn, so I don't know what's the reason was behind this g3 move. Maybe just to wait, yeah, but you cannot wait with just randomly pushing pawns, yeah. Better wait with just improving the pieces bit by bit, shuffling them around, yeah, seeing it's kind of waiting game. You have to be patient. You have to be patient. Opponent might lose the patience as well, yeah, and he might make some weaknesses. So it's a waiting game usually when you don't know what to do. So and this, yeah, g3, but the main mistake of the game I think was f5. After this, he terribly weakened e5, and he used it basically to win this pawn. So at least you had to try this, yeah, maybe defend immediately the pawn, but yeah, you lost that pawn, and then you lost another pawn, so that was completely lost, the endgame. I'm kind of surprised actually at the opponent's rook e5 move, yeah, for this level. Was this intentional sacrifice, or was he seeing everything, yeah, that he's just winning? So a bit suspicious about this move, yeah. A couple of moves were like perfect engine moves for opponents, so I don't know what happened in this game. So so main takeaway from this game, I would say, if you don't know what to do, yeah, sit on the position, don't make any pawn moves, yeah, unnecessary pawn moves, don't create weaknesses, just sit on the position, improving bit by bit the pieces, yeah. If you don't have any improvements, just kind of shuffle them around, yeah, making some little threats, yeah, or some ideas, but don't push the pawns unnecessarily, yeah. The main mistake was this f5 push, so you kind of lost your patience and just moved, yeah, but this created bad weakness on e5. So okay, I hope you liked my analysis, and see you next time. Bye bye.